Hey, your pal Mike Shea here from Sly Flourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. In this weekly show, I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running the hardcover D&D adventure Rime of the Frostmaiden. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. You too can become a patron of Sly Flourish by going to patreon.com/SlyFlourish and signing up. Patrons get access to early videos and early release information for other products that I'm making. They get access to Sly Flourish's Uncovered Secrets and Sly Flourish's Adventure Generators and a number of Sly Flourish exclusive adventures. So you get lots of material by supporting me on Patreon, but most of all, you help support shows like this. So yes, last week we are deep into chapter 2 and big things are happening. And the big work we're all going to do today together is take a deep look at the Black Cabin, the adventure of the Black Cabin, because that is where the characters are going. But let's take a look at our notes from the last game and see what happened. They were right at the tail end of the Cackling Chasm. They had gone into the Cackling Chasm to recover the Heart of the Id Ascendant, which is an artifact that you can bring back to the Id Ascendant, and the Id Ascendant can repair itself. And that way, Perrin's Mind Flayer family that he now has could fly away. And so they were on their way out and they got attacked by, so they saw, our friend Shadowhawk saw that the Knight's Kiss has learned that he's got a illithid parts in his head. And they're like, maybe we shouldn't kill him. Maybe we should just capture him. So that's like a little thread I'm kicking down the road. And then they got attacked by Orlo Skywatcher, a Goliath who had been taken over by Chardalon, kind of hinting at the dangers of Chardalon. He had Chardalon body modifications that made him kind of Goo Bird. So they then return to the Id Ascendant, and there's a big question. Perrin, who one of the characters, is making a big choice about does he go with his family on the Id Ascendant or not. He's kind of thinking of going with them. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep pushing the Id Ascendant's departure out so that he can make that choice closer to the end of the campaign if he wants, right? If the player is kind of done with Perrin and wants Perrin to go away, then we can do that right away. But if he wants to continue to play Perrin, and I think we like Perrin, we like the character a lot. So I'm going to talk to Jay, the player, and say, do you want to step away from Perrin, or do you want to keep playing with Perrin? You know, from a story element, we can work the story element so that he can continue to play Perrin, but can still fly off on the Id Ascendant, because I think that'd be a really fun ending, right? Is that it's sort of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He takes a little Mind Flayer hand, and he walks onto the ship, and they fly away. And then he becomes a Mind Flayer as the tentacles go to his eyes and ears. Don't tell him that part, though. They returned to Easthaven. They got the Book of Dazan. They got a bunch of quests spilled out to them, right? And probably too many. I think I spilled too many quests. But they had all of these quests spilled out, and they made the choice. Ilda got her father's note, and that freaked her out. And she's like, I need to go there. She's like, we're going to go talk to my dad, but we're probably going to have to go kill him, just so you guys know. And they thought they were going to do that right away. And then they heard about Macradius and the Black Cabin. They said, if there's a way for us to get rid of the Endless Night, that's a big deal. Like that talk about helping the people. That could really help the people. So I think we want to do that. So they ended up choosing finding Macradius and the Black Cabin. That's where they went. But they had some good role play scenes. They had a lot that went on. It was a really good sort of transition time here. I might drop in a little bit of downtime. You know, I might give them that, like, they have a couple days in Easthaven before they're going to head out to the Black Cabin. Is there anything that they would have wanted to do? So I think that there's some things that we could do. And then we'll probably jump into an interesting random encounter. So let's take a look at the secrets. I checked off secrets as I ran them. Old ones, travel deep in the Underdark. I did that. Nice Kiss, one Shadowhawk captured. Yes. Creature named Anjuk. They did not get the Anjuk creature, the missing bell. I don't think all of this info got spilled yet. I don't think it did. But a bunch of other stuff did. They know that Vaelish Gant is there. They know about Vaelish Gant. They know they have the amulet with the other member of the Arcane Brotherhood there. So, yeah, they learned lots of different things. Order of Elven Knights once protected Thrun Cell, known as the Knights of the Black Sword. What they're going to find out is that, I think they already found out that her father is a member of the Knights of the Black Sword. Yeah, they did, right? So all this stuff kind of worked out. It was a good transition getting out of the Cackling Chasm and getting towards it. And now they are like beeline. They've made the choice. They're headed to the Black Cabin, which is really good for me from a prep perspective because I know what to prep. The problem is I don't know anything about the Black Cabin. I read it, but it was like a long time ago. So we're going to click on Generate Session Planning Notes. We are going to set up our new notes. It is 1 August 2021, Sunday, D&D. Sunday Frostmaiden. All right. Our notes, as always, is in Notion. If you are in Twitch chat, you can learn more with those links that I just pasted in there. It tells you about how to use Notion. It gives you access to, you can see my Notion notebooks, all kinds of different things about how to use Notion. Notion is a fantastic aid for D&D. I've now been using it both for tabletop gaming and for online gaming, and it works really well for both. Great way to organize my notes. So we review the characters. We have 6 characters. I think everybody, I don't know that anybody is out today, which is great. We have Ilda. Ilda is a half-elf, half Goliath. Her mother was a former member of the Children of Auril, as she thought her father was. Now she's finding out that her father is actually a member of the Knights of the Black Sword, who is a group that originally protected Thrune, an elder evil. They guarded Thrune, an elder evil that had been imprisoned in the spine of the world. However, the city of Yethrin had picked up Thrune and then crashed, and now Thrune's cradle at the bottom of Yethrin, buried under the ice, is cracked open, and that's what caused Icewind Dale. Not to canon, but canon in my game. So Ilda's all tied up in that. Auken Dawncaller is a Goliath from one of the groups. I always forget which one. The Wormdune Crag, and I think I want to try to tie Wormdune Crag Goliaths into the adventure. It's time for him to meet some of his family members and stuff like that. So yeah, Goliath of Wormdune Crag, who has seen visions of what's under the ice. And I think, oh God, what'd I just do? How'd that move around? I don't know, whatever. So we have Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk is a drow, half Mind Flayer now. He's got a Mind Flayer symbiote in his head. The symbiote is now benign and not continuing to grow and turn him into a Mind Flayer, but he now has an ability to attack people with Mind Flayer power. So he's no longer really a drow. He's now a sort of a vampire Mind Flayer, right? Which is kind of cool, kind of a half Mind Flayer. Gore, and he's being hunted by the Knight's Kiss, who is a group of assassins that were sent out from House Zalaran, who are now trying to go capture him to bring him back so they can use his psionic abilities. Gore Wan Alcazar is a member of the Wan Alcazar Trading Company. He's a secret heir to the Grey Castle family. I guess that's Wan Alcazar is like not quite a anagram. Running the business, and boy, there's lots to talk about the business. A little bit more talk about the business than I dig, frankly. Perrin Fat Rabbit is a halfling who was captured by Mind Flayers, managed to survive before they had implanted anything in him, but family members were not so lucky, so he has a brother now who has been turned into a Mind Flayer and a bunch of his villagers that are been turned into Mind Flayers. Candle in the Dark is a Tabaxi rogue who escaped from the Xanathar down in Skullport, and is being hunted by also being hunted by an assassin named Shikar Ballard, the Ebonheart. Shikar Ballard and his collar named Gygax. And yeah, so those are the characters. So our strong start today, what could happen in Easthaven? What would be an interesting event occurring in Easthaven that would kind of be a fun thing? Because I wanted like scene-wise, I want downtime in Easthaven will be cool. And then travel and encounter on the way to the Black Cabin, and then the Black Cabin, which may be a 1 or 2 session event where I don't know how that's going to play out. So really straightforward on the scenes, right? I want to do some downtime, but I'd like to have something interesting. What is an interesting event? Like obviously the big one is, an interesting one would be more with the Children of Auril. Do we want to bring the Children of Auril back in there? Could somebody show up? That could be interesting. We could bring Father Limac in play, but I don't want to derail what they're already doing. So you don't want anything that's so strong. You don't want anything so strong that it then takes them in a different direction, right? You don't want anything like that. I don't know a good way of foreshadowing the Duergar attack without the Duergar actually attacking. So I don't know about that. Is there anything with Auril or the Knights of the Black Sword or the Arcane Brotherhood or any of these other factions? Could they run into Shikar Ballard? I don't know. Like what? So there's 2 assassin groups, but it might be time. So maybe it's time to bring what's his name back again, right? Maybe it's time that they met Gygax Greenhood, right? And Gygax he's my front man for Shikar Ballard. He's the caller. He was resurrected. he gets resurrected often. And what would he want to say? What's the deal? Does he want to offer a deal? So what is Shikar Ballard? Shikar Ballard is there to take Candle and his family back to Skullport. That's their real goal. And they'll kill anybody that gets in the way. And Candle's family is now staying at the Bryn Shander Community Center, which used to be the House of the Triad, and then also was the headquarters of the Children of Oral in Bryn Shander. But they cleared it out and they've sort of rebuilt it. And so Gygax, the one like where I've got threads that are going on, and it's like, I don't want the threads to derail the campaign too much. There's a candle. Yeah, we don't want the candle to get snuffed out, right? So what would Gygax bring to them? Like, he knows where their family is, and what is there any reason like Shikar doesn't want to just go in there and murder everybody, because that doesn't help, right? But he's like, look, if you and your family come with us, and we'll give you a 10-day. Could he offer, we know you've got things that you're working on here. Why would he be nice about it though, right? Like, we know you got things you're working on here. We'll give you a 10-day. And if you don't, if you and your parents don't come out in a 10-day, we're going to go in there and no one's going to survive. Everybody in the community center will be killed, right? Why would he give him a 10-day though? Why not say, you got to come with us right now? But there could be a reason. So maybe Shikar has found something he's interested in here in 10 Towns. Yeah. The other one is maybe it takes, Shikar's not going to go in by himself, and it's going to take him that amount of time to get together, the people he needs. He's cut off from getting assassins from other groups, but he's hiring thugs and bandits and other assassins, right? What if he warns them about the Duergar? That could be interesting. The whole, a lot of kind of interesting stuff. So I think we're going to go with that. We're going to just punt, right? And the punt is, come, you and your family. I guess, one other issue is they can't get out. The pass is frozen. Shikar can't get out of here any more than anybody else can, right? So, but does Shikar know, the ice isn't going to ask, how about that, right? This isn't going to last forever. Could Shikar have a way out? I don't think so. He could. Maybe he's got a portal. When the pass is open, you and your family are going to come with us. If you don't agree, we're going to kill everybody. We're going to kill everyone in the BSCC. That's a strong message. Yeah, could there be an airship or some other way in 10 days? But I think an approach is, that they want to, they want an agreement. They don't want to grab Candle, because what good is it if they grab Candle and his family and then have to hang on to him for 6 months while they wait for the pass to open up? But what's their other approach? Is Shikar just there to kill him? He's not just there to kill them, right? I think the Xanathar wants them returned, right? If you die, only your folks will come back, and the Xanathar will not be pleased about this. I don't know. It's it's a tricky. I got tricky bits. Too many assassins around for one. The gate that opens up in 10 days. Yeah. So it's possible that maybe then Gygax isn't going to say this, but we're working on another way. We're working on another way. And if that comes to pass, you're coming with us. So maybe he wouldn't say we've got a gate and we're gonna get out. But maybe maybe it's clear the Xanathar doesn't want you dead. So meeting with Gygax. I think we'll come back to that. So secrets and clues. So what are some secrets and clues? We can tie a bunch of secrets and clues to this. So the Xanathar doesn't want Candle or his family killed. The Xanathar wants them returned to Skullport, but that's not going to be good. What else? Shikar is working on alternate transportation out of Icewind Dale, but it could take a 10-day or more to line up. So I think that's a couple of things. What other? The Duergar are building a huge war machine to destroy 10 towns. What if the players find out that Gygax needs them alive and blackmail him into service? That would be interesting. What could they possibly get on Gygax that would make him switch? against the Xanathar. Like that's a really, it better be severe if you're going to do that. The artifact Macradius found came from the Lost Spire, and thus from the ancient Netherese city under the ice. That is good. The Macradius's artifact is powered by the, what's it called? The Mythalar inside Yethrin, which in turn is powered by Thrun in his cradle. What other, are there any other, so when we think about the Black Cabin, and we're going to take a deep look at the Black Cabin, because that's actually what I'm running, right? Is there, what's the big reveal? I think that might be the big reveal, right? That there is a Mythalar. I don't know how to spell Mythalar. Somebody help me out with the spelling of Mythalar, please. There is a Mythalar in the city under the ice, Yethrin, that is powering the spell that causes the endless night. The power, thank you. And then we'll add that to dictionary. Add to the dictionary. Yay. Cool. A word. The power of the Mythalar is only 1/2 of the magic of the endless night. The other half is a very powerful spell. So where do we learn about the Codicil of the White? So the Codicil of the White is the book that contains this spell. Who knows that? So that, I bet I know who knows that, and that would be the knights know about the Codicil of the White, the Book of Magic held in Grimskull. The Book of Magic held in Grimskull, now in the hands of Auril herself. The knights believe that Thrun is more powerful than Auril, and that if Thrun kills Auril, they will be stronger. They will become a god. That's an interesting secret. Sometimes secrets just come to you and you're like, hey, that's an idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more secret. So these are cool. The problem is these other ones, they're not going to learn about them until they get involved with the Knights of the Black Sword. But they can learn about Netherese stuff. Is there other interesting Netherese lore that we want to dump that they could learn from the piece? Oops, what did I just do? Do the knights know it because of avarice or their patron? They know it because they've been following the lore of Thrun for a long time. So they have theories. There are a bunch of like rich assholes that sit around and, pretend to be occultists, right? And they learned all this stuff from studying it. They're like the magicians in Jonathan Strange, right? They don't practicing magic is no, but we study it, right? Wear funny hats. Each of the spires represents a school of magic. Yes. I think that's probably a secret they'll learn when they go to the spire itself. Is there just any... You know what? We'll save this last secret as we read through the adventure itself. So now I need a fantastic location. This is going to be something that they run into when they're traveling from Easthaven to the Black Cabin. I'm moving the Black Cabin south instead of north because I don't want them cutting across a whole bunch of 10 towns to get there. So, Flaming Foggy Pillar of the Frost Giants. That's kind of interesting. Sure. Flaming? I don't know about flaming. But a foggy Pillar of the Frost Giants is pretty cool. And maybe there is what could be here? Yeti corpses hewed with an axe. That would be cool. Right? And do we want to have an encounter there? Let's take a look. Let's go to some random tables here. You know what we could do is, why don't we use, I have an Encounters of the Frozen North adventure generator in the adventure generators on my Patreon, and I don't even use it myself, and I should. So we are going to go find it. I don't think any of you guys can see this. I hope not. Not that matters, but. So here are the adventure generators, and let's look for Frozen North. Settlement, environment, locations, wilderness, underground, Encounters of the Frozen North. All right, so let's roll a D100. Oh, look at that. I got backdrops, too. I should roll these. Why don't I use my own thing? It's crazy. Backdrop is an abandoned farm. Okay, that's cool. Monument is a dragon skull. Dragon skull and an abandoned farm. That's kind of cool. I like that better, right? Instead of this foggy. I like the Yeti corpses. But boy, I should have used that other one. This is great. And then I need a D100. Kitty, not now. The dice are not your toys. 40 on the nose. 40 is Horde of Manes Seeking Holy Blood. That's kind of creepy, right? Why would a bunch of Manes be summoned here? Is there a reason why Manes got summoned around this place? I don't know. I'll hang on to the Manes, but let me try a different one, see if something comes out that's a little bit more. 71. 71 is a winged vampire kobold seeking blood. Did they? Yeah, they violated. They broke the rule that Teklili had placed out for them. So I think getting attacked by flying vampire kobolds would be pretty cool, right? That's cool, right? I mean, kobold, and I think for the kobold vampires, because I don't know. We might use the normal ones here because they were a little weak. If I recall, the vampire kobold spawn are CR3, but they only have one attack, right? And it's not, I mean, it's +6, so it's not nothing. But I might throw a claw attack on them too if they're not. Well, they have pack tactics. I don't know. So they're CR3. So the characters are 5. We can do our lazy monster thing here. So deadly benchmark is 30 divided as 15. So they could face 5 of these kobolds, right? That's probably about right? So kobold vampires, and they can fly. That's cool. And the vampire, so we have an NPC here. One of my new faves, Rendhollow, right? Rendhollow is a more powerful kobold vampire. He sends in some of his brethren, these 5 kobolds, to kind of harass them. So we have vampire kobolds led by Rendhollow. Sometimes I have a name that I just love. Rendhollow is a fantastic name. Led by Rendhollow. Attack the characters at a frozen pillar of the frost giants surrounded by impaled Yeti heads. That's cool. All right, so I got kind of a fun encounter there. That's cool. I got an NPC. They also have Captain Imdra. She's around. And Janth is the ghostly form of the Arcane Brother, member of the Arcane Brotherhood. So that's cool. And I don't know about treasure. Let's take a look at treasure. Decorated whoops, there's a spelling error. Decorated Knife of Torm that casts Call Lightning. That's pretty good. Do they have? I think they have a Call Lightning thing. No, they don't have a Call Lightning. They have a lightning. Who is the Frost Giant god? Would a huge knife? What's a Frost Giant sized knife? Would that be like a glaive to a normal person? Maybe it's an arrowhead, right? It's a spear tip that can be turned into a knife. Who is the god of the Frost Giants? Thrym. Okay. Perfect. Decorated spear tip of Thrym. Is there any interesting lore about Thrym in D&D Beyond? Storm King's Thunder has a Temple of Thrym. I don't see any good lore for Thrym. Oh well. All right, so I got treasure, I've got monsters, I've got NPCs, I've got a location on the way. So I've got all my notes ready, but I still don't know anything about I wouldn't say I don't know anything about, but we need to take a hard look at the Black Cabin because there's a lot of tricky bits of the Black Cabin, right? And if anybody here in Twitch knows the Noaf of Torm, Falchions are a big knife. Oh, did I write frozen? I meant foggy. Oops. No, it's foggy pillar. Yeah, it's frozen and there's fog coming off of it. So if anybody has run the Black Cabin and has tips, because I think there's like tricky bits in here, including like a just instant kill problem, right? Characters drawn to locations. So the Black Cabin is built by a ranger of the far north long before the 10 towns when he moved to the lodge, became a refuge for others. He's getting blah, blah, blah. 6 months ago, Macradius, a sage, devout follower of Lathander, god of dawn and rebirth, formed a plan to end Orl's hold of Black Cabin where he spent all his time assembling a weather control. So I'm going to make this. He didn't assemble it, he found it using a knowledge gleaned from a book about Netheri's artifacts. Close enough. Someone designed to a Mythalar, but much smaller. Unfortunately for him, he had a serious design flaw. I tried to use it 3 days ago. It malfunctioned, incinerating both him and his book. That sucks. Characters discharged again. Find the sage's charred skeleton in his deadly creation. Since the mishap, Macradius' restless spirit has lingered and unwilling to depart until his work is complete. So we could have Macradius' ghost, right, as a potential NPC. We make a new NPC for Macradius. I'll have to find a picture. So Macradius' ghost is still there. From the border of Ethereal, the restless spirit will observe things happening, but can't manifest physically in the material plane. Characters can see the restless spirit of Macradius and interact with it only if they cross over the border of Ethereal, which is what happens if someone dies in the cabin. In the border of Ethereal, the spirit manifests as a giant floating spectral head with fire burning in its eyes. Arrogant in life, Macradius remains so in death, snappy and egotistical. Mirova said, I ran it, 2 characters died, and it was not a good experience. My players were terrified of the thing and were almost about to leave immediately after. The metagaming aspect of the dead players talking to a ghost is hard to deal with. If I did it again, I would split the group so that the living party members were not at the table for the ghost speak. I can't do that online, though. That's good feedback. You're welcome to the company and others. Is there one question I have is like, certainly people can die there. Is there any way to get them back, or are they dead? Like, is there any way to get them to return? It doesn't seem like there's any way to get them back other than like a raised dead. If you fix the thing, they're revived. Weird. Okay. So we just need to make that really clear, right? And is there any reason why that happens? Why does that happen? Characters just try to finish make helps in this body's form to lay the spirit to rest. The character will fix the creation's design flaw and then activate it, all within the confines of the Black Captain Warp Grace. Once he sees the device working again, the spirit departs to the afterlife. It doesn't say that the characters. If a creature with intelligence 3 is a spectral form, a character that dies in the cabin, and the spirit manifests as a ability, can choose the form the spirit takes. Regardless of the form, the spirit is not a creature and can't be harmed or turned. It can do a bunch of things. It plane shifts them. Is that right? It takes them to the border ethereal, but they're not actually dead. I mean, it looks like death. So they go to the cabin, outhouse. Outhouses are always fun. Ew, yuck. Find a piece of stacked discarded notes and blueprints which Macradius used as toilet paper. Poopy jokes. The cabin is huge. It's pretty big. Yeah, there's a lot of rooms. So I think I would give some characters the ability to at least know that the other ones are there, right? So they don't just see their friends die and then they're gone. Oh, there's an amulet of health. That's nice. 6-inch diameter gyroscope featuring 2 scorched rings inlaid with runes and a dense chunk of coal. The summer star has lost its luster, but not its magic. It turns them to ash. Ethereal spirit. Don't fret. They can find a way back. So how do they repair it? Step 1, identify the item. Creature spirit studies it around DC 18 intelligence to search the devices designed to control weather, identify spell, Macradius' blueprints. Design flaw. Obviously, Macradius has concluded that device rings are unable to contain the magical energy that the core puts out. A 3rd ring must be attached to the device, and the new ring must have runes like those. Character succeeds in intelligence. Comes to conclusion. Check is made with advantage. Fix the design flaw. Craft a 3rd ring. A 1/4 pound of metal must be melted down in a fire and recast using smith's tools, then inscribed with runes. Where would they get that stuff from? Like, did they have to go back to town to do it? Right? That would kind of suck if they have to leave. Character must attune to Summorstar while holding the device. The attuned character can cast the control weather spell without the need for a character with Summorstar to be outdoors. After the Summorstar ceases to be magical, the spell lasts for the duration or until the character's concentration ends. Macradius knows what must be done to fix the device. Can't activate the item because he's dead. If no one can attune, there's a workshop room in the place. Okay, cool. If no one can attune to the modified Summorstar because everyone in the party is dead and trapped as a spirit, nothing more can be done with the device until someone else comes along who can attune to it. Fortunately for characters, they don't have to wait too long for someone to reverse. That's weird. Weak floor. There's a gorge directly underneath the cabin. It takes 49 bludgeoning damage. Oh my God. Wow. When it's a weak floor, I ain't kidding. Is it really on a big gorge? Oh yeah, look at that. It's sitting on this great big gorge. That's cool. That's a bad fall. The Frostmaiden is where somebody using the Summorstar catastrophe responds by sending cold light walkers. I think we'll do multiple cold light walkers. That'd be cool. So I think this is pretty. Yeah, I get it. So one tricky bit. I don't know where does it say that people get resurrected? Any permanent time is instantly restored to full health regardless of how the character died. In addition, each character that helped lay is the blessing of the Morning Lord. 10 temporary hit points each day at dawn. Wow, they get that. That's pretty good. They get that permanently? That's pretty good. Because you get that and aid. Everybody gets 20 extra hit points. That's tremendous. I might do 5. I don't know. Do I need to nerf it? I guess not. 10 is 10. That's a lot of extra hit points, though. It's a good motivator. Okay. My thing is like my character, one of the cleric casts aid on everybody pretty much every day, and they get those hit points too. Aid does not do temps. Aid is a boost to your actual hit points. So that means aid and this would stack, and they would get 20, 15 to 20, depending on how big an aid spell they cast. So it's a lot of extra hit points. It's like 20% of their hit points or something like that. Maybe, no, it's way more than that. It's like a third extra hit points, which would be nice if they weren't getting destroyed by this thing. So what are the tricks that I need to, what are the tricks that I need to keep in mind here when I'm running this? This will be fun because I'll talk about it now, and then next week I'll have like tips on how to run it. So let's see, fantastic locations. We're going to have black cabin, hyperlink that just so I got it handy. So it sounds like the tricky bit is if one tricky bit is you don't want everybody to die, right? I don't think that's like with 6 people. It's unlikely all 6 people are going to get wiped out by the thing. Because it's a blossom becoming a 10-foot radius sphere, incinerating golden radiance, each creature in the sphere. So they'd all have to be right on top of it for everybody to die. So I don't think that that's very likely. Somebody's going to like be outside, or somebody will be doing something else, right? And then what you want is you want to have a good meta game. You want to kind of you want to. It sounds like you want to make sure to lead the group so that if there's people remaining and they just saw their friends die, like we just heard, their instinct might be to leave. Like the most logical thing the character would do is get the F out. We don't want to do that though, right? We want them to stay. So then the question becomes to the spirits, like your friends look like they're going to leave. What do you do to try to convince them to stay, even though you can't directly speak to them? Like, how do you convince them you're still there? Make sure to show the players after the explosion that the thing won't just explode again. Give them the leeway to actually interact with it. Yeah, that's a good point, right? Like once, like see, like the runes are all glowing and then they flare out, and then I don't mind kind of just telling people things like, because you are trained in Arcana, you can tell X, right? You can tell that whatever energy was stored in this thing is no longer there, or it's refreshing, but it's going to take some time. It can be safely manipulated, right? Just tell them. So that can work. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's cool. And then, so let's look at Cold Light Walkers just for this final encounter here. It looks like it could be a fun one. I've heard people that say they really like it. Is there a theme to this adventure? So like Macradius is from Macrady from The Thing. There's no real thing going on here though. I love Cold Light Walkers. They're challenge 5. So 3 of these would be a good challenge against the group instead of, right? And I think they are really nasty. Yeah. Yeah, they can blind and then they slam and cold ray. Look at this slam. Oh man, these guys are awesome. I like monsters that do real damage. They are undead, so they could be turned. Although they have wisdom. I would probably give them advantage on their save too, because they're under the. And who would they be? So they would be dead people. Who are people that they've seen that are dead? There would be sacrifices of Oral. Oh, the hanging woman from, yeah. Whoops. So a cool thing to do with Cold Light Walkers is find dead NPCs and make them dead NPCs. So one of them could be from the last session, Orlo, right? So Orlo Skywatcher could be one. Then there was it's going to be hard to find. It was in Targos. So how do I search for Targos? Where do I search? Quick find. I should have a bunch of notes from Targos. Let's try this one. So they're in Targos. Mother Nora Icehand, right? Yeah. She was great. She died. She was hung. So Nora Icehand, Mother Nora. Is there anybody else that they killed or that they saw die who could have been turned into a Cold Light Walker and sent against them? Thumper. Thumper returns as a Cold Light Walker. Hop eyes. That would be hysterical. I might do that. Thumper is a Cold Light Walker. I might have to do that. That's pretty great. It could be. Actually, better would be the Druid, but Thumper's pretty great. Thumper as a really kick-ass Cold Light Walker would be pretty awesome. Anyone killed by the Ice Killer guy. Yeah. Ravison, right? Would make sense as a Cold Light Walker. So I think that'd be cool. Yeah, so I think I'm missing one secret. What's one? Is there one other? Now that I've read the the Black Cabin adventure, is there any additional secret that comes out of this? We already know that Macradius found it at the Lost Spire. We know that it channels energy that comes from somewhere else, somewhere below. We know, what else do we know? Is there any, there's got to be one other secret here. What secret would help tie together Grimskull and all of that stuff? Do I already have the Grimskull stuff? Yeah, the Codicil of the White. But the Knights of the Black Sword who know that. I guess we'll do that. The giant fortress of Grimskull. Is it Grym? I can't spell. Lays hidden on an island in a sea of moving ice. That's a good secret. One interesting thing about this adventure is I think once you manage to dig your way out of chapter 1, which is like the hardest part so far, it then kind of goes downhill. It's like fast, right? Like things are moving along. Things feel fast. It's pretty great. I think if they survive this and they survive the Cold Light Walkers, it's probably time to kick them up to 6th level. I have a feeling it'd be a good time to kick them up to 6th level. So I think we are all set. I've got my notes. I feel good. I feel confident. I'm ready to run it. It's all good. So I think we will call it a day. We'll call it the end of the show. And in an hour, I will run it. And then next week, I will tell you how it went. So I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with me today. I want to thank all the folks for coming in Twitch and spending the morning with me. It's always a great pleasure to have you around. For those of you listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, thank you as well. If you like the work that I do, you can support me in 4 different ways. 1, you can subscribe to the Sly Flourish newsletter. 2, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. 3, you can support me directly on Patreon by going to patreon.com/slyflourish and signing up. If you do, you will not only get access to the Encounters of the Frozen North page that I showed in here, but you get access to a whole bunch of other stuff too. And 4, you can pick up any of my books, including Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master and the Lazy DM's Workbook. So thank you very much for a wonderful morning, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day.